welcome to the Novel Alliance Book Club. This month we are discussing Minnow by Mark Dunn. I am Kate's novel idea.
I'm Josh Bookdragon.
And I'm Quinny and Co.
Yay! All right, I have to actually do discussion questions.
Yeah.
I'm the one in charge. That's what I decided this month. Okay, so we'll start with the basic. Did you like it?
Yes! It was glorious.
I did. I really enjoyed it.
I am very glad. I enjoyed it also. Yeah, I liked it. I don't know. This book is kind of overwhelming because I feel like there's a lot to discuss, but I couldn't find any good questions.
I know, it's really short, so you kind of have to...
Well, I mean, these are the discussion questions I found. This is just the first question. In what ways is Minnow unconventional? How is it more like a fable than a novel? What characteristics does it share with other fables? Does it offer a clear moral? That was just the first question.
Oh my goodness.
This isn't school here.
It's a little deep for a Thursday afternoon.
Okay, so let's just go through. First of all, let's talk about the epistolary style. This book is written in letters, which is kind of unique. I mean, obviously it's been done before, but it's not common for a novel. So did you like the epistolary style of it?
Yeah, because I thought that's the only way it could be done. Like, there's no other way it could have been written, so I was just like, cool, letters. And it allowed us to get to know the characters really quickly and really well.
I liked it. I mean, like, it wasn't that special, like, to any other letter book, but I still enjoyed it. So, yeah, I thought it was written well.
It definitely worked for what he was going for. I mean, like you say, Quinny, it was really the only way you could tell this story as effectively as he did. Yeah, so that was an interesting comment about the characters. Did you like the characters? Did any of them stand out to you in particular?
Well, I mean, like, not particularly, but I mean, I thought the main characters were just... they were just really likable in a nice, calm, friendly way. Like, everybody was just like, oh, we're just gonna have this nice little town and blah, blah, blah. And then it started getting weird when they worshipped Nolab, and that was all kind of fabulous. So, yeah, they didn't really stand out, but they were just really pleasant.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, none of them were, like, extremely, like, quirky or anything, I don't think, but, like, I really liked all of them. I really liked her father. I liked Amos.
Yeah, he was funny.
I was more impressed by the characters who kind of stood out. I feel like I cannot remember anybody's names.
Me neither. I was going through the whole thing like, wait, what? Who's this?
I don't know. Tassie and Ella did manage to distinguish themselves, but to a large extent, I feel like they had really similar voices. I liked Amos because he stood out, and I think my favorite might have been Georgianne, the crazy neighbor. Just because watching her spiral into insanity in letter format was kind of my favorite.
I liked Tanya. She was nice.
She was the one neighbor, right?
The lady with the nice hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that the crazy neighbor died by painting herself and getting lead put. What even?
I just kind of thought that was the best thing ever.
But the line that killed me, especially because it was written in like barely intellectual letters, was like, "But she'll look great in the funeral" or something.
That was my favorite too.
What even, Ella?
I think they were all going kind of crazy by that point. Like, at one point where she's just like, where's the paint? We're all spiraling. My favorite, speaking of going crazy, my favorite letter was the one where the only letters left were LMNOP. And so it's no mo nala pop, no mo nala poo poo, no mo more pop, one mall nala lulu poop. It's just like, going like that, and I'm just like, that was perfection.
I know, I was reading that, I was like, am I supposed to know what this means? Because I hope not, because I don't.
No, she was just spiraling into craziness, and it was great.
And then all of a sudden it's just, oh!
Oh, I had that moment as soon as, like, because for some reason, I didn't realize that Nollop was also the same letters as LMNOP, so I was like, so when that all came together, I was like, ah!
It was clever. There were a lot of little clever things like that
Yeah.
I appreciated. I mean, I think to some extent it felt a little contrived, but that worked. Like, I think this is the kind of book that if you take it really seriously and start overanalyzing it, it kind of falls apart. But if you take it for what it's meant to be,
Mm-hmm.
it's silly and fabulous.
It's like a book I'd try to write, but then get scared and stop because I take everything too seriously. But so I appreciate that the person who wrote it could just like carry it through and not look at it like that.
Yeah. And I mean, it delves into some kind of deep topics. I mean, there is kind of, I was discussing it with my uncle, and he was like, I liked it, but it felt kind of anti-God. And I was like, that's interesting, because I didn't read it like that, but I did read it with the idea that we should question what we believe. And I feel like there are some deep themes explored, but maybe not in the most serious way. And I don't think it was supposed to be taken seriously.
Agreed.
I mean, I find a lot of the philosophy of it really interesting, and I think we could kind of break down some of those ideas. But in the end, I think a book that could have been really pretentious was too silly to be, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know. I'm going through discussion questions that all kind of suck. But on our general questions, we have, are the characters' actions justified? And I wanted to talk a bit about the way the characters respond to what's happening, and whether you think they responded well to how the council, I mean, as the council went steadily crazy. I don't know, what do you think of the way the main characters responded to what was happening?
Main character. My brain is foggy. I mean, at first, of course, they were, like, really just, they thought it was just kind of silly, or at least Ella did. She was like, oh, we're getting rid of Z, that's kind of hilarious. And then, but then Tassie was like, what? That's ridiculous, how could you possibly do such a thing? And it just kind of, like, kept spiraling downward. But Ella was like, she never really did lose her cool once. She was always just kind of like, another letter's gone. What else is new?
Yeah, Ella definitely was more chill than maybe some of the others.
You mean like the woman who died from paint? She was totally chill. I don't know what you're talking about.
I feel like I would have reacted the same way that all of them did, where at first I thought it was silly, but then I realized this is, like, insane. And I know I would have slipped up a lot of times, and I definitely would have been banished.
I think the only level of realisticness of them not all slipping up is that these are people who think about words a lot.
Yeah.
I know I would have been banished within about 10 minutes. Something I found really frustrating and kind of unrealistic in the society of linguists, people who love language, the fact that as soon as the letter Z, so the very first letter, as soon as it was banned, they burned all the books.
Yeah.
And nobody flipped out about that. And I'm like, Ray Bradbury wrote an entire book on what this would do to a society, and we're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, we don't need them. And, like, guys, they just burned, like, the Bible and the complete works of William Shakespeare, and, like, there are serious things being gotten rid of because the letter Z is gone. And I just felt like not a big enough deal was made about that.
Yeah, when they said that they were going to burn the books, I was like, oh, wait, well, here comes the big deal then, because this is a big deal trademark. But
it would be a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal, so... But then I kind of found that, like, I'm not gonna say refreshing, but I'm gonna say like, oh well, good. We didn't slow down the plot any with all this silly book burning stuff. So.
Except it was wrong. Like, as much as I might agree with the fact that I appreciate that that trope wasn't delved into, it bothered me that nobody cared. Like, it seemed unnatural, and I was sickened by it when I stopped and thought about it, and I'm like, why is nobody in this world where people should be dedicated to books, because they're obviously dedicated to language, why does nobody seem to care?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people who still mourns the Library of Alexandria.
Right.
So I would be like freaking out.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think that it says a lot about this society who literally does not know how to get rid of their council, and is not really rising against them, and is listening to them. Obviously, they've kind of been trained to be very passive, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know from the fact that before it was called Nollup, their island was called, like, Utopia or something. Like, it was literally...
Topiaria or something, I don't know.
It wasn't Utopia, but it was really, really close. Oh, wait, I think it says in the... here. Quasi-American, blah, blah, blah. What was it called? Formerly Utopiana. Yeah, so...
Yeah, that was close.
And I think to create a utopia that's not really a utopia, but is trying to be, you kind of need very passive people who are just going to go with what they're given. And I think we see a lot of that. Like, even when they rebel, it's not like, let's go burn down the council building and kill them all. It's like, let's try and write a sentence smarter than that one. Like, it's not the most dramatic rebellion we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like they send them notes that's basically like, well, if you don't do this, you're gonna be sorry.
And she gets thrown in prison for that. It's fabulous. Like,
how did you even get caught?
Well, because they read her letter.
Oh, yeah.
Which made me so mad. I was like, you shouldn't have written it. You shouldn't have written it down.
Oh, yeah. Why on earth did she confess it?
Well, she was trusting her courier, which was not a good idea.
Never trust the courier. That's the lesson of today's
That's
meeting.
the real moral of the story.
Yeah. We got that question down. Just moral. Don't trust your letter carriers, people.
Again, with the whole burning the books thing, I feel like you said, if they loved language so much, they wouldn't agree with the whole burning the books thing. What I thought they were going to do is I thought they were just going to, like, go and, like, hire people to cross out all the Z's in books.
That would be fabulous. And goes with the theme of censorship, and so it would totes make sense. Except, of course, eventually all of the books would just be completely crossed out, but that would make more sense as a gradual development.
And it'd be sillier.
And it would be sillier.
I could just... There's new call for labor forces to cross out Z's in books.
That's okay, because all the beekeepers lost their jobs. So.
That was hilarious. And then the 5,000 Z editorial that was the bees' lament.
That was fabulous. But there was just something really frustrating about the fact that we cared more about the fate of the bees than we did about the books or the children being beaten in the street. That's what the thing that made me mad about that was that Ella was so like, look at all of these people watching this and not doing anything. And I'm like, Ella, you are watching this and not doing anything. Like, critical much. I was so frustrated by that.
It's the first lesson, kids. If you can't do anything, just be hypocritical and
judge everyone else for not doing it. Oh. But again, it did fit with the society of Nollup. I think they were all kind of that way, and I think that's the only reason this totalitarian government was allowed to exist, is because they're all just kind of go with the flow kind of people.
Yeah, so maybe why that's why nobody had like personalities. They were all just kind of like paint.
Yeah. I don't know. And part of that was just the epistolary style. I don't know. I would have liked to have got to know people better and seen more of them. But I feel like it worked for what it was, again.
Yeah. I'm not judging it, because I think it all went together, so it's not really a thing. I don't know. What?
I think, above all, it was an entertaining read, and really, what more can you judge it for than that?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not one to just like sit down and read books forever and ever, but I really did just sit down and I read this one almost completely through, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So I was entertained thoroughly.
Yeah. I read half of it while the girl I was babysitting yesterday slept, and was amazed by how fast it went by. Like, I was expecting a slower read than it was.
Well, it helped that because this book is only 200 pages, but like it's made of letters, and the letters are cut short a lot, so it's really like not 200 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Letters always read faster. Part of that is because the margins are different. Part of that's because they cut off, and there's just something about letters that reads fast.
I know, I love reading letter books for that reason. Also, people don't usually write letters that are full of just like meaningless descriptions. So they go like, we're only getting like the juicy details and we're directly getting people's thoughts on the matter. And it's like, I don't know, I think letters have become one of my favorite ways to write books.
Well, and something I appreciate about this one is I never felt like, with the exception of some of the details on the love story, how they were written, I never felt like there was anything that I was like, you wouldn't write that in a letter. Like, I totally bought the fact that they were letters.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, when you're reading a book in letters, you're like, wait, who writes like that? Like, who says that in a letter? And part of that is that these are such wordy people that they can get away with some of the things that are a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it is that it just was written, the information that you would include in a letter.
Yeah, I think this book should be subtitled 3001 words that you don't know what they mean, but they sound good.
Which, honestly, again, that's not something I would want from, like, every book ever. I would get annoyed if they always used as ridiculous of a vocabulary as this book does. But it worked in context, and it was entertaining, and I did kind of want to write down, like, every word I didn't know.
Yeah.
Also, it's written in such a way that I never once felt like I had to go to the dictionary. Like,
yeah, I really didn't, because I was just like, just scrolling through.
Like, I might not know exactly what that word means, but I can follow what you're saying, and so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Solid.
If it wasn't a kid's book, we probably would have to look stuff up, but no, it's...
It was really funny. I'm trying to find it, but this is a library book, and there was a word that was underlined by someone, and they put a smiley face next to it, and I looked up the definition, and no definitions came up, so I have no idea.
Is it just a made-up word?
You gotta track that person down.
Why did smiley face?
Randomly a smiley face.
You know that the author just, like, sat her dictionary, or her thesaurus was, like, right next to her the entire time?
His name is Mark.
Oh, him. It doesn't matter.
That's a different argument for a different day, Quinny.
I totally never once
found it!
Oh!
Let's see if you can...
What is it, John?
It's alphabets. I can't see it.
What is
I'll
it?
give you,
CONFABETTE.
Are you chatting it to me?
I'm typing it in to see if I can find anything. It says, sorry, no definitions found.
That's not okay.
Some of them are so fabulous, and now I felt like some of them
were not in the dictionary. It doesn't exist.
I'm not really surprised that there was a made-up word.
I feel like some ridiculous wordsmith found it and underlined it and put a smiley face there just to say, I'm smarter than you and I know that this isn't a word, ha ha.
Can you see the smiley face? You probably can't.
Not really.
We really can't.
You're gonna have to take it.
Okay, anyways.
Would you call this plot-driven or character-driven?
Plot-driven. Clearly.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, I think just by the, I don't know.
It has one of the most intriguing synopsises I've read in ages. The letters are falling down. Now we have to write without them. Like that's all it took. I was like, yes.
And I feel like it lived up to like exactly what you expected from that. Like
Yeah.
just as delightful and as weird as you expected.
Exactly. And I was actually surprised when the book held up as long as it did without completely falling apart into the ridiculous language. And but then it had just enough of the ridiculous language so that it didn't really get tiring, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it was funny and then it went away before.
I read all of it out loud pretty much. I was just like, I don't know.
For the most part, I could follow it, but every once in a while, I was like, I literally have no idea what you're saying, and I had to keep reading it until I was like, oh, wait, got it, okay.
Yeah, sometimes at one point I'll just like, I don't know, moving on to the next sentence. I'm sure that it just makes some sense in some world.
I couldn't even keep track of what letters were illegal. Like,
yeah, me too. I was like, wait a second, I don't remember.
Yeah, I was really glad that at the end of, like, every once in a while they had the letters that were missing.
I know this book was well done because I started to feel so stifled, like, 3/4 of the way through. I was like, I can't breathe, and I can't think of any words that don't start with these letters, and this is awful.
It would have taken so long to write these letters, like...
Oh my gosh, I kept getting distracted thinking about how he must have done it. I would have had to put each individual letter into its own Word document and then done a control find for the letters that were banned to make sure none of them were in there.
Yeah.
Like, I kept overanalyzing, like, how did he do this? And what was his method? You know, did he write the letter without censoring his letters and then went through and went, okay, well, this has that letter, so how would we say that in a different way? And
yeah, I really just don't want to think about it at all, is what it...
I was fascinated with the process of writing it. Like,
yeah.
That really intrigued me. It kept kind of pulling me out of the story, but not because of the story, just because that's how I think. And so I kept stopping and being like, how did he do this? And
he should write like a companion book, How I Wrote LMNOP and Why You Can't.
I don't know. I mean,
go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I was gonna say at the end when like well, close to the end where like they started like spelling things wrong and stuff and things like that. I had a really hard time like figuring words out. I mean, like some of the time it was really easy, but like some of the words I still don't know what they ever were. So
that's why we had to read it out loud like a Mad Lib.
I
read it out loud and I still didn't understand it.
Yeah, some of it was like ridiculously ridiculous, and now and then I wanted to type that way because
it reminded me a lot of online speak, and I think Quinny froze.
Yeah, she did.
My absolute favorite was changing, was it Tuesday or Thursday, whichever one, to toast. That was the best day of the week ever.
I like Saturday as Sadogato.
Sadogato. Or Sunday being sunshine bugged me because I'm like, that's an actual word. Toes and sunshine. I'm like, that would get confusing.
The best thing was that the months, whenever they wrote the letters, they kept changing. It was like it wasn't just one word for every month. It just like I
don't. My favorite was the one who did November is no way.
I thought it was funny that they changed Thursday to Thurby just because it sounds like Furby.
Yeah.
Norpine Frine. No Trump. These are all just November. No to Filey. No
Octonary 22nd. Otalgia
Papa.
22nd,
That was my favorite October. Papa.
onomatopoeia.
And I
Over
liked
garbage.
there was also onomatopoeia.
Oh, tempura.
What was November 15th? That's my birthday. I was like really happy that it was in there.
Oh, what was it?
November 15th was Weste November 15.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
November. Or no gemgers. I like Sunshine over Garment the 29th.
Over garments.
Oh, they're so fab. Nosegay might be my favorite.
I just saw that one. Twinning is winning.
Twinning.
Okay.
Josh, are you having a problem?
No, I'm good.
Okay, hold on.
Are you finding more awful questions, Catherine?
Yeah, I am. In what sense can LMNOP be read as a satire of censorship and the restriction of free speech?
In what sense? That's the whole book.
Like, exactly what?
Yes.
Because it is that's how.
Wow. I'm not sure how many intelligent people actually read this book or wrote questions for it.
I feel like they're trying so hard to be intelligent that they're failing.
This may be my favorite replacement for the month. For November, it was no, Nanette. It's like, Nanette, no, Nanette, no.
I bet the author has a dog named Nanette, and it was just like, no.
No, Nanette.
Kiss me again, Nate, while I may still speak of it.
She was cute.
I shipped them so hard. Like, I really appreciate it.
Right? As soon as
I celebrated all the love stories. Like, even though they were really minor, they were all kind of cute.
Yeah, and her and Tate, it was just kind of hilarious because she wrote that long, winding, fangirly letter, and then she was like, no, wait, it's completely wrong. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
That was like my favorite. He is a nice man, that's all.
I was completely inebriated.
My goodness gracious. Oh, she failed. Oh, I was looking for other funny words they came up with. What did they say instead of underground? They said that one a lot. I don't know, like, I just feel like the words got so silly. Intoxy tipsy.
Did you guys hear me? I think I froze.
Oh, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said my favorite was when they did she, heir as daughter.
Yes. Yeah. That's funny, I'm on that page.
The she, heir.
I got stewed tomatoes. I love when they finally just gave up on grammar. Like, they tried so hard.
I know!
Using D, they were still grammatical, and then at one point it was like, nope, this is not happening anymore. The learning house instead of school. Sun to sun instead of day.
Oh, they called the underground Subterra.
Subterra. I knew it was something fabulous.
On the interwebs.
Keep freezing for some reason.
We're all like super delayed, even myself.
I never did find any really good questions. They all kind of suck.
And we're only halfway through, folks.
What is the significance of Amos Minnow writing, quite by accident, a sentence which surpasses Nollup's illustrious pangram?
I loved that he accidentally wrote it.
It's
that too. I felt like it went along so well with the whole idea that Nalop wasn't a genius, and sometimes we blow things out of proportion.
Only drunk people can write good sentences, apparently.
You are dark. Oh, there you go. You're back. Your screen was just dark. Like we could hear you had no visual.
That is how I am in my heart, Catherine.
Tschüss.
Yeah, it's still doing that. It matches your soul. Now there are two of you. I'm so scared.
My thing completely cut out and then completely refreshed, and here I am now twice.
Terrible.
Can I eject your copy?
Yes.
It's really creepy because in the corner of my screen it shows the other Quinny and she's frozen and she's smiling really creepily.
Take a screenshot, Josh, before it goes away.
The statues from Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask.
Now I was gonna say, I entirely expected one of the discussion questions to be something ridiculous like, hey, could your book group work together to make your own sentence that incorporates all the letters? And I'm like, that's going to be a question, isn't it? I don't know.
I both wanted to, but all of them are at the, all the possible ones are at the end, I think.
Okay, I'm talking, look at my screen. Quinny.
Oh my word. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, your evil doppelganger is gone, though. We're okay.
Okay, good. She left to go get a sandwich.
So, were you satisfied by the ending?
Yes.
Yes, because I wanted it to stop. I didn't want the book to stop. I wanted the not understand it to stop.
Catherine's face was like, are you...
I was like, I thought you liked it. That seemed kind of harsh. No, yeah, seriously. When we were down to LMNOP as our only letters,
I was so done. What are the odds of LMNONP? Like,
I'm sure it was a little
just she can write her name.
I am sure maybe the glue was like those were the exact middle letters. Maybe like the glue was stronger there for some reason.
Except they weren't the middle of the sentence.
No. Oh, that's true. They just had the sentence, but when they wrote it out like in alphabetical order, it looked like the middle.
Yeah.
I was sad that that Q was on the second letter to fall. Like then I'd be I couldn't even be able to spell my name.
Nobody was concerned about K. Like K was missing, and they were like, "Who needs K?"
K was like the third one to drop.
Yeah.
So we're all just sad and pathetic in this world, apparently.
No, it was all our letters. Yeah, mine was the third letter to drop. J was.
Oh. Catherine, yours held on the longest. But,
It was like the middle. I liked the chick who changed her name to Bathsheba because she couldn't write it anymore.
Right? That is so fabulous.
Good choice. I approve.
I know. Especially because I just read a book with the main character Bathsheba, so I was like, okay.
So bad.
What have you been reading?
Yours was the fifth to fall, Katie.
Oh, cool.
We're all in the top 5 club.
Second,
We all have to
third, and fifth. Katie, you broke the pattern.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. I was going to speak words.
Me too, but I can't remember my words.
This is the most disheveled, live show ever.
Yay!
Normally, I feel like we're so prepared. No, we're just less prepared this time.
Right? Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's a silly book. It deserves a silly live show, right?
Right.
Well, then I need to
We
throw
had
out
one
some
viewer, but they
hashtags.
bailed on us.
What?
We had one viewer, but they bailed on us.
Oh. Rude. Yeah,
I will find
Catherine.
you, and I will kill you.
Whoa.
Catherine, I was like really upset that they didn't have any sort of they weren't upset about K because all I could think of was like Kiss and Kississippi and all this stuff, and I was like, but K is important to life.
Right. Wrong. She did have to get rid of her Special K cereal.
Yeah, that was so weird to me. Like, it was like this 1800s island, but then interspersed was like things like Special K and stuff.
Well, that was the point because
I know.
Yeah.
It was the point. It was just like really funny. But
Yeah.
then it shouldn't be that
shocking to be like, wait a second.
It shouldn't be that funny to me because I'm kind of like doing that in my own book, so I should be like, this is how it can work. You need to pay attention. But all I could do was like laugh. So
I appreciated I don't know. For some reason, the one that really threw me was him coming in on a Walmart boat.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah, that's a thing, but it's weird.
Walmart, Special K, and then computers.
Yeah.
You know.
I liked the Quaker Oats when the family went in quacking like that. That's like my favorite, even though it ended with children being whipped and was kind of disturbing.
That's still, I mean, you know, that's to be expected, honestly. It was my favorite, even though children are being whipped.
Yep, that sounds about right.
But you're not supposed to be okay with this.
Haven't we learned anything by now? If the viewer hadn't left already, they would be gone.
What's wrong with these people?
They're gonna call the protective services on us. It'll be a.
I'm never gonna watch this ever again because they think we're mass murderers, and they're not wrong.
I
But
know.
But we really shouldn't admit these things on the internet.
The internet is where you admit your deepest, darkest secrets. Like that you're secretly, like the fact that you're secretly Napoleon resurrected as a woman.
I knew it.
By the way, Russia is lovely this time of year.
I got a little off topic.
I have to mention Napoleon in every video. It's just a necessity. It's kind of like pineapple.
It is always a hedgehog, so.
A hedgehog with a little fabulous hat.
Yeah. So we were good with the ending. Yeah, ending was satisfying.
yes.
I got a little frustrated because the sentence that used, like the sentence that saved them was like so many letters back. It was like, but it's there. You have it already.
I totally didn't even. Of course, I didn't even. I read that sentence. I was like, oh, that's kind of sad, and then I moved on.
Yeah. I only knew because I'd read the book before, and I mean, it was like 10 years ago, but I remembered that it was him who wrote it and everything. And so I think it was just more frustrating in reread to be like, you have it.
One does not simply forget plot twists of that nature.
Yeah. If you could ask the author a question, what would you ask?
How are you still sane?
I want a sequel where a statue has Ella and Amos on it, and all the letters start falling off. Just kidding.
They can't anymore because they put it into stone.
I love that it even is like grammatically incorrect. Like they were like, don't worship this sentence.
Yep.
Normally have to plead, but
Don't be a sentence worshipping heathen.
dead dogs tell no tales. And by deliberately keeping the word tales frustratingly misharmonized, we offer this guarantee that our descendants will never have reason to exalt this sentence beyond simple sentience.
Ugh, homophones, Catherine. That was the end of the whole book, is trying to frustrate us.
Homophones are not our talent.
I mean, I'm so careful, but I still make slip-ups. Tara made one the other day, and I was like, how could you betray me like this?
I would just be so bad at, like, not speaking words that have the letters, because I'd have to sit there and go, wait a second, which no has a K in it, I don't remember.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that.
Because not being able to speak the letters is the hard part. Like, not being able to write it, you know, you have time to really go through, and not being able to speak it, I would be so dead.
Yep, we'd be dead.
You know, at the end when they were, like, talking about, like, other sentences that would have worked or whatever?
Yes.
The first one where they said it was, like, exactly 26 letters in length, and it's like, J.Q. Vance struck my big fox whelp. I feel like using names shouldn't count.
Right?
Like, J.Q. Vance? Like,
Yeah.
why is... What?
I was glad that the final, like, the sentence that saved them didn't have a proper noun, because I feel like that would have started a whole new argument.
That's exactly why they made sure that it didn't, because otherwise there would have been problems.
I am really tempted to see how short of a sentence I can write using a leaf.
Don't.
I ain't ever gonna try.
I so am. I feel like it sounds totes fun, and I'll probably...
We'll put my name in it, and then you've got, like, a Q and a Y, and... I mean, actually, my name is kind of ideal for this kind of thing.
How about if it has repeat letters in it?
What?
Just get rid of you're already repeating letters.
Yeah. Shoot.
Quick, Zephyr's blow.
Weird. Quinlan. Because in Quinlan, she's not repeating. Oh, yeah, she repeats.
I have two N's, Josh.
Never mind.
Can you spell my name, Josh? And if you spelled it as a lot of people spell it mistakenly, it would have two I's as well.
What?
Most people, when they don't know how to spell it, they spell it Quinlin, so it would have two N's and two I's.
I always want to like Quinlynne, so I just want to double everything.
That's kind of... Wow.
You saw how I spelled Caitlin. I just shouldn't be allowed to ever spell anything.
I saw that, and my eyes popped, and I literally spent 30 seconds making sure that it was indeed just Caitlin, and not like Caitlin or... No wonder Samira...
Okay, we spell names weird. There is a girl at my church whose name is Snow. S-N-E-U... No, wait. S-N-A-U-E-X.
That is horrid and fabulous, too.
It's so Utah. Like, we rock at weird names. Mostly because everybody here has, like, 80 children, so we all have to...
Y'all just are, like, really bored. You're just like, you know what? I'm gonna come up with a new spelling of snow.
You know, yeah.
Because this is needed in the world.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, don't come to Utah. It's scary.
Us crazy Mormons were pretty scary.
You look, your hair is always, like, hanging in your face. Like, I'm going to make a potion and boil you in a pot.
That's the goal. Has this novel changed you? That's the last question.
Yeah. Have you a deep interpersonal connection in your soul with this 200-page novel?
I mean, you know, I thought a bit about God and things like that, but it wasn't exactly life-shaking.
I'm gonna make my brother read it, but I mean, I was like, I don't know, I was vastly entertained, and that's about it. I thought about some stuff, and then I was glad that I wasn't living in that society, and then I put it down and started talking about it with you guys, and that's all that it's changed.
Dystopian.
It's dystopians. I'm so tired of dystopians.
It's worse than a dystopian.
Technically, it's
kind of a dystopian.
Dystopian, but it does cover that government taking over a totalitarian society. But it's not quite as, I don't know, it doesn't question society quite as deeply, I think. I mean, there are some themes about censorship, about questioning what you're told, which I think are important themes, but I like them delivered in an easier to sample format.
Yeah. Dystopia is so heavy-handed 90% of the time that I just, like, throw it across the room and forget it. Now, the number one thing, well, maybe not the number one thing, one of the things I found hysterical was, like, they were, like, so deadpan about this whole Nollop thing, and Nollop is such a ridiculous name, but they were all standing there completely serious, like, all hail Nollop, Nollop is everything, whatever. I was just like, Yep, that sounds really professional, guys.
Awkward silence.
Katie, you're not your hair, you look frozen, but your hair's like moving a tiny little bit, and then I can tell that you are frozen. We got 15 minutes left, guys. We gotta come up with something.
What was that?
Well, you guys are the ones who aren't willing to delve into some of the actually deep topics, so you come up with something for us to talk about.
We're too young for this. What do you expect us to think deeply?
That's what I often think about you, Quinny. You're young and dumb, so just hide behind that excuse.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and Josh, that was a bona fide Southern accent, okay? I was born in Nashville. I have the authority. I have a card somewhere that says I'm authorized to do a Southern accent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at talking.
I know. Let's see. So, LMNOP. By a man. Even though the whole time I read it thinking it was a woman.
Why does it matter?
It doesn't matter. I just was surprised, that's all, because it felt very feminine, because the main characters were feminine.
I want to make fun of you, but one of my favorite books growing up was written by someone named Audrey Wood, and I always thought it was a guy, like my entire life. I don't know why. I also wrote a story about a guy named Jade around that same age. I'm really bad at, like, gender application to names, so.
Yeah. You're just gonna have to have a girl character named Josh one day, and then everything will be.
No. I had a girl character named Nate. Right around the time my cousin Nate was born, like right before he was born, I had.
This is not right.
Okay, her name was Natalie, but she went by Nate like the whole book. So.
Was she a tomboy?
Yeah, she ran away to become a pirate.
Okay, well, then it's acceptable.
The pirates who don't do anything.
A girl named Josh should not exist.
It's gonna happen.
If there's a girl out there named Josh, I'm sorry, I just told you to die. Like, I'm sorry, don't.
Josh, you're just mean.
We start to fall apart when we have nothing to talk about. Then we start telling people off. It's like
I just forgot about the book.
Josh, go die. Yeah, we're.
I didn't mean that.
Why do I have
it not exist?
Why is there a Christmas tree music box here, sitting beside me? It's not Christmas.
I have a Christmas tree in my corner over there.
Why, Josh?
Because I had nowhere to put it.
It's always Christmas here.
I like
It's always Christmas.
I am a strong believer. I mean, like, people get mad at me that I want it, like, that I can't talk. People get mad at me that I, like, start celebrating Christmas before Thanksgiving. And I don't care, because I want Christmas.
I don't understand why people are so upset by Christmas coming early. Like, just chill. And if you don't want to start, like, I don't like starting to listen to Christmas music and stuff before the end of Thanksgiving, but if other people do, that does not hurt me in any way. I don't understand why people make such a big deal about that.
My rule is that I remember my mom wouldn't let us watch Christmas movies before Thanksgiving because my dad and I were, like, obsessed with Hallmark Christmas movies, and she was like, you watch them so much, why don't you just not until after Thanksgiving, and then I just won't complain. Hallmark Christmas movies are just a special, special, special thing.
My mother is obsessed with them. I can only handle, like, 2 around Christmas time.
Yeah, the weird thing is I was, like, really obsessed with them when I was really young. Well, not super young. I've only grown out of it, like, a couple years ago. But sadly, they have gone down in quality significantly, so I think that probably
Have they gone down in quality, or have you just gotten older?
I think it's both, honestly, because I think they've been running out of topics, so they like start coming up with this dumb stuff. I'm like, I could write this stuff. Christmas at Cartwright's was the weirdest title I'd ever heard in my life. So
Are you saying that your writing is dumb?
I think
I can write dumb stuff if I put my mind to it.
we may or may not have written a cheesy Hallmark romantic comedy.
We so did. It was glorious.
I don't even want to know,
No,
so...
you don't. But there was a motorcycle gang who totally crashed the coffee shop.
Oh my...
Weren't there murders at one point? But then we decided that maybe we shouldn't murder the main girl.
We were just murdering the main character's girlfriend, who was a jerk.
Sure. I mean, these Hallmark movies, they always make sure that the character who's not supposed to be with the guy, she's taken care of in a very nice, calm manner. Usually she gets a cake dumped in her head or something. But this is so much more efficient.
First we killed her, and then we gave her a love story, let her join the motorcycle gang and start a sandwich shop. It was one or the other.
Yeah. Well, I think it was motorcycle gang and sandwich shop.
Yeah.
Because
You know,
But I mean, it was like either she dies horribly or she gets a happy ending.
I said I didn't want to know, so you guys completely disobeyed me, so...
You're welcome, Josh.
Well, this is Katie's channel, okay? So we can talk whatever we want on this one.
That's right.
Well, I'm supposed to be talking about LMNOP.
We got through with that. Somebody needs to open a cafe in LMNOP.
Yeah. We really ran out of... I feel like there's a lot to converse about with this book, but I just don't really have anything. Like, question what you're told, and... yeah.
It's like last time when I had the iron trial. I literally found like 6 questions on the internet, and I'm like, I hope this lasts an hour.
It did, though.
Yeah, it did, surprisingly.
There were better questions in this. We should change the name of this group to Sleep Deprived Teenagers.
I have no words. I'm not actually...
Yet.
Oh yeah, you're not. I keep forgetting.
And Josh is
I am
another,
in...
like, week.
How many days? 8 days.
Okay. So I was within a couple years for both.
Good job. I'm never going to be a teenager again.
That's true. A sleep-deprived young adult.
There we go.
Not a young adult, though.
Everyone knows that you're not actually out of teenagerhood until you're like 25 anyway, so.
That sucks. I don't like that rule. We all know I'm actually 6.
Exactly. 6-year-olds are my favorite.
Thank you.
And to think, the 6-year-old is the one who's been talking the most.
Yeah. Their intelligence is
You
right.
guys don't try and look for depth in books, okay?
I do try.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, but for some reason this one was so kind of like the depth was actually quite obvious to me, so I just kind of like didn't say anything.
That is a definite point about this book, is that it's all laid out there, so it's not like you have to delve deeper.
Yeah.
The
point of it is just like go read it, and then you will immediately see all this depth, and you do it for yourself. It's part of my personality type. I'm just like, hey, you can go see things for yourself.
You're right, I don't see depth. Yay.
No, you do. Josh, you need to take the personality test. You need to find out what Myers-Briggs type you are. I got Katie to take it, so.
I don't understand the obsession with Myers-Briggs. I don't care.
Her eyes are dead inside.
I don't even remember what personality type I am because I legitimately can't make myself care.
You're an ENFP turbulent.
Awesome. I have no idea what that means.
I know.
I don't understand what it is.
I'm just a 3, and I'm very happy being a 3.
I think I'm a 4. Like, I think so.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Maybe it's just the teenager in me, but I every time I read 4, I'm like, probably 4.
I feel like Renee is a 4. I think your sister's a 4, Josh.
Okay.
What's Josh?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure we figured it out yet.
Why is my thing
Thanks.
Ask my mother. I think we kind of figured you were a 3 just because you and I have so much in common personality-wise. But I have a harder time judging male threes. Like, female threes I can always spot, but male threes are different because you're boys.
Well, you knew pretty immediately I wasn't a 3, so.
Hmm?
I think you knew pretty quick I wasn't a 3, didn't you? Yeah. Because we are similar in some ways, but.
But I think, like, the deep roots of our personalities are the same. We just have a lot of, like, more outsider-y things in common.
Right.
That made sense. Why don't you tell us what we're reading next month?
Okay, guys. Okay, so we're going to be reading The Apothecary by this person that you told me who it was, but I can't remember.
Down.
I got this. It's Mayoly.
Mayoey. It's Mayoey.
Male. It's
Mail or Maily? I don't know.
We rock.
Let's see what Google tells us how it's pronounced. Like Paranelli.
Paranelli.
Paranelli. I will forever love Paranelli. You know, we're going to have to come up with t-shirts eventually with all the catchphrases that we developed over the course of our alliance.
Okay. Wait for this. Let's see how this sounds.
Miley.
Miley.
Very closer to Quinny's pronunciation, which I wanted to make fun of, but apparently she was more on than we were.
Yeah. In your face.
Miley.
Malloy. Okay, great. So, The Apothecary by Miley Malloy. To go to your local library.
What's it about here?
Steal a copy. I don't care. As long as you read it and join us next month. Okay.
You gonna tell us what it's about?
Oh, what's it about? Okay, so it's about 2 kids. Well, wait, maybe just 1 kid. I don't know. It was a kid, and there were like another 2 kids, and then they were like met this apothecary, and then.
Okay, don't tell us what it's about.
Did you say they meet an apothecary?
Yeah, and then it's like 1950 something, and they have some magic powder. I remember. Oh, and there's a really cute kid named Pip. He was my favorite. That's all I really remember. It was a good book, though.
I'm glad we have you to tell us what it's about.
Just look up a summary on Amazon. I'm never going to get a job writing summaries for anything.
You realize it's one of the things you have to do as a writer, right? Sorry.
You don't like them either, I don't think.
And then
I found a summary.
Okay, good.
It's 1952 and the Scott family has just moved from Los Angeles to London. Here, 14-year-old Jamie meets a mysterious apothecary and his son.
It's odd.
Perfect.
Welcome.
What was that? His son or Hassad?
His son.
Oh, goodness.
He has a son named Hassad. I don't know.
So yes, read The Apothecary and then meet on Quinlan's channel at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time the last Thursday in whatever month that comes after August.
September.
Guys, can't even.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We rock at life.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my word, that was so fabulous. I can't do that anymore because I cut my hair, Brood.
It's your own fault.
I know, but got tired of it. We're still live, you know.
I know. It's not like we care at this point.
Okay. If you don't know where Quinny's channel, it is this.
https://www.youtube.com/channel/uses FK3SNHWTBPDWDJS3-BRQW.
Perfect. Now you're set.
Remember that.
Oh my word!
What would we do without you, Josh?
Probably die.
Colon dash dash.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock. We are no longer live.